A very good afternoon. This is Binju with you, and you are tuned into At Life 360. At Life 360. What's your story that time on? And today again, I've got yet another special guest who's joining me. He is a career coach for teens and adults, Mr. Sameer GeePee. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you, Binju, for having me. Really happy to be here.
And what do you think, the teenagers right now? What is the main issue that they face? I mean, since you've been talking to them and then, you've been consulting them, what do you think are the issues that, teenagers face, and maybe, one of the main issues in parenting, if you may say?
So one of the main issues that have been coming often right now is anxiety and stress, and a lot of peer pressure because of how they communicate online. Mm-hmm. So that is dominantly coming from them itself. You can see that they're stressed about how they're perceived, because when I was growing up, we didn't have social media to see how other kids were.
Yes.
You could only see it
maybe
from a classroom or something, or, But now that is not the case. You're seeing it so much more. And you're not seeing just on an academic front. There are children who are doing so much more sometimes. Mm-hmm. And you're feeling the pressure of being noticed and being discovered or being acknowledged or being loved or whatever that is for whatever you're doing. Mm-hmm. So constantly they are in the pursuit of approvals.
Okay.
And it is coming not from a space of authenticity right now. Because of the way things are projected, mm-hmm. authenticity is not present in the children who are going through stress and anxiety.
Okay.
And the moment they are able to embrace themselves, things will shift. So there is a young girl who came to me, and she was in 9th grade. About 2 years back she came, and she was in 9th grade at that point of time. And her challenge was she used to get very angry and very upset. And parents used to be, confused about how to deal with her mm-hmm. and what to do. And we started coaching. Okay. And within a month, so when I start coaching with a child, I also work with the parents together on a weekly basis. If required, what we do is we set up and we see where is alignment, what is missing, what are the challenges, etc. Mm-hmm. And on a weekly basis, they were updating me what is the progress.
Okay.
Within 4 weeks, they were like, Sameer, we don't know what you did, but now, before it used to take 3 days for her to come out of her situation. If she got angry, she would shut the door, she would not eat food, she would not talk to anyone, she would be completely upset, and she would become a recluse and she would isolate herself for some time, mm-hmm. and take her 3 days for her to be a normal self once again.
Okay.
Now it hardly happens, and when it happens, it doesn't last more than 3 minutes. She's able to correct herself. And she was an introverted child. Okay. She still is an introverted child. And that is another challenge. When children are introverted, parents think the way to success is only by being extroverted. So mm-hmm. they try to push their children into being extroverted. And the moment they discover that a lot of famous people, including Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs, and mm-hmm. if you look at so many famous personalities, they're introverts. So introverts has got nothing to do with success, but they feel like I have to communicate, I have to be open, I have to be speaking to more people. That is only way success is defined. So this girl, after 6 months, they came back to me and they were like so happy. I said, what happened? They're like, for the first time she has friends. She goes out. She's in grade 9. She goes out and she's made friends, new friends, and things are changing. So that was in grade 9. Grade 11, she was nominated as a class leader by her friends.
Oh, okay.
So the transformation that happens is magnanimous when you can actually shift the identity of what a child holds. And this is true very much for adults as well. So going back to your earlier question, if somebody wants to do something and they're not able to because of limitations,
yes.
work on the identity. If the identity changes, parents, their biggest challenge right now is what? They want children to live the life that they believe mm-hmm. is best for the child. Mm-hmm. I did an interview long back about one child.
Okay.
And amazing kid. She was at that point of time 7 years old. And she had answers to every question that I had when I was asking her questions for the interview.
Okay.
And I was flabbergasted. I was like, wow. And then I asked her name was Dunya, and I asked her, Dunya, is there anything that you don't know?
Okay.
And she said, yes. There's only one thing I don't know, and that is how to be perfect, because no one can be perfect. And I was like,
7-year-old.
She was 7 years old, you know. asked another question that I remember was, you had so much success in life. She was into jiu-jitsu, she was into trapeze, she was a motivational speaker by 7, she was into, she's already done skydiving, she's a chess player.
Okay.
She's par excellence.
Okay.
I said, you have found success so early in life. What does failure mean to you? And the answer to that was, failure is what you get before success. I'm like 7-year-old. So I went and asked the dad. His name was Omar. Omar, how do you raise a child like Dunya? And I found this is a very profound answer that came from him. He said, Sameer, I don't tell her what to do. I ask her what she wants to do. My role as a parent is to open as many doors as possible for her, and then allow her to choose which one to walk through.
Nice. I think that's something that everyone should, take in mind when they're parenting.
Yeah.
Maybe, you don't own the child. You're just helping the child to reach wherever they want to reach.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So we were talking about speaking. You are a person who considers conversation very important. Conversation builds a lot of things. So how important is conversation for you? I mean, that's how you talk to anyone who comes over to you. That's how you try solving their issues, or that's how they try guiding them. So how important is conversation for you?
So for the first time, when I started my own conversation series and I was talking to people, I used to interview a lot of people. And in that, one of the interviews I did was with RJ Kritika Rawat.
Okay.
And during the interview, she said something about how she had come back to Dubai and she didn't know what job she wanted to do, but all she knew is she wanted to talk. She loved to talk and it had to be something to do with talking. And I asked myself, what is it that I love to do? If that is the case, if she's that and she's successful and she's happy and all that stuff, what is it that drives me? And I found the answer was conversations, not even communication, it was conversations, the words. And then I started exploring deeply what conversation really is. And I realized something very profound. I realized that the quality of our life can depend on the quality of our conversations.
Yes.
And the conversation, not just with others, but also with ourselves. That conversation that we have with our inner voice, that conversation that we have with the people around us. Any relationship that we take, if you look at it, it thrives or it struggles because of the way the conversations are going on. And in conversations, what we do is create our realities. Every moment, every conversation is an opportunity for us to create something. Words are power. Words have immense power. And how we craft it, how we utilize those words is a responsibility. When we see it with ourselves, we take care of it. We're careful with it. We know how it can impact us. There are, for example, during this interview, there are certain words that comes to my mind and I'm just like, no, Sameer, don't use those words. Those are not words that you want to use. For this audience, those are not words that you want to use at this moment. So you recraft it. So mindfulness about every word that you say can improve relationships, number one, can improve the quality of your life, can improve when you set your own identity, can improve when you set your goals. When you're creating our identity, those people who are telling themselves, I can't do this because of this, that is happening in the space of a conversation, you see. I can't do it. Those are words which are powerful because what they say is, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And whatever you believe will happen. It depends on what is it that you're telling to your own self. So if you are decided it won't happen, it won't. And all you have to do is shift that. And sometimes people feel like I don't have a choice, not realizing that making that itself is a choice. Saying I don't have a choice is a choice, right?
Yes, yes.
So you have the choice to shift your realities. You have the choice to shift your realities and your life and the way that it goes. All you have to do is be more aware of the words that we use.